Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse Spangler. Let's talk about leveraging assets and building connections for our English learner success. We've been seeing a fundamental shift in how we teach our English language learners over time. Education has been working off a deficit model, and we focused on what English learners lacked. Today, we're taking more of an asset-based approach. This means we need to look at students' home language and their culture as a resource for learning instead of a hurdle that we need to jump over. See how we can turn this philosophy into practice in our classroom. So, for culturally responsive teaching, what are the cultural influences on learning, and what is the role of cultural competence? Culture is a student's background and past experiences influencing the way that they see things. As their teachers, we need to know more than just random Google facts about where they're from. We need to build relationships with our students. If we know what our students enjoy and how to connect with them, then we'll be able to put them in proper settings that they will thrive in, and that could be if they like to work with partners and on homework or by themselves. We also need to validate their life experiences, and that means more than just one day to work on integrating these values. We have to do it every single day and just make it become a part of our daily classroom. Say we're teaching a lesson on ecosystems, we can invite an English learner to share geographical features from their home regions, and all of a sudden they're the expert in the room. I live in Southern Oregon, and there are a ton of volcanoes out here, and they just shoot straight out of the ground. Someone from the Midwest might be surprised to learn about this. They may not even know that exists. The next question is, how do environments influence language acquisition? Our classroom environment is an extra teacher. We need to have different linguistic type of diversities on the wall. Maybe we just have a poster that has different ways to say hi in many different languages so then the students can practice. And they would be like, oh, you're from France? Let's try and say hi in French. You're from Mexico, from Spain? Let's try and say hi in Spanish. Students start seeing things, we can have students bring something in from their own culture that they feel like sharing with the class, and they can hang it up on the wall, and that will make them feel more included. I know as a teacher, I bring things to the class that make it more personalized for me and more comfortable for me. So that always helps, and it will make students feel more included if they have that stuff on the wall. And then have students do more complex work in their home language and then use a translate type of service to change things up and translate it to English so that we can understand it. Supporting the needs of English learners in the classroom. What strategies support different strengths, including students with special needs? I work in a life skills classroom, which is the lowest level of special education in our school. It's called life skills because these students just need these basic skills to make it through everyday life. While supporting these students, I've tried many different strategies. I've had many failures and many successes. Just because something works with one student doesn't mean it's going to work with another. We have to use the universal design for learning and provide multiple ways for students to engage in the classroom and express their knowledge. The multiple ways that some examples of multiple ways for students to express their knowledge. If they don't want to present in front of the class, then they can make a video at home and send it to the teacher so just the teacher can watch it and grade it. Or they can do a one-on-one presentation. Excuse me. I've had students in woodshop class that struggle remembering everything to write down on their safety test. But if I walk them up to a machine and ask them the safety questions about it, say, hey, can I do this on this machine? And the student will be like, no, never. And I'd be like, okay, so you know how to properly operate this machine. And I will mark that correct. And then I'll be like, hey, can I do this on this machine? And I'll also ask, what do I need to do before using this machine? And the student can give me all the correct answers. But if you throw a 50 question test down in front of him with all these words, he's going to freak out. For social emotional needs, we need to recognize that they have a cultural bias. We need to build one-on-one connections and be mindful of cultural norms. An example would be some cultures do not look authority figures in the eyes. So instead of telling a student to look you in the eyes when you think they're disrespecting you, do a little research about their culture, where they're from, and see how they do things before you call them out for something that they think they're doing correctly. Home and school connections. How do funds of knowledge influence learning? So parents, kids, students, families have these funds of knowledge, right? And this is just knowledge that has been passed down through lineage, through the families throughout the years. We can invite parents into the classroom to share these experiences that have been passed down. A good example would be that I personally am not good at gardening and growing plants, but there are plenty of families that come from different parts of the world where you can grow things all year round, and they are great at gardening. So maybe we can do a project where students grow something and they bring their parents in to show everyone how to plant stuff. We also have Parent Square at our school, and this gives us a way to contact parents and send them messages. The school can send mass messages and also just solo messages about one student. And Parent Square is awesome. It also translates everything for parents that need it translated as well. So we have to start closing this gap with our mindset. We need to look at our English learners and leverage their language and their cultural treasures, because if they're allowed to do things in their language and then translate it into English, then they will learn English quicker along with the content there in that content area as well. We need to have an open mind and really get to know our students. So let's create a successful learning environment for all our students. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.